All right. Hello, everyone. This is a new podcast. This is a very different type of podcast. And this video, not video, but live stream should be taken seriously, and this will be taken seriously. This is not meant for entertainment purposes. We're not going to make jokes. We're not going to act funny. We're not going to have background noises. None of that. None of those shenanigans that we've done in past podcasts. But this podcast will be taken seriously, and we will dive into that later on in the stream. So, as you can tell by the title, this is about the memory of the September 11th, 2001 terrorist attacks that happened in New York City. As you guys know, two planes hit the north and south towers of the World Trade Centers, leaving 3,000 people stuck in the buildings that day. And unfortunately, the towers had collapsed, and those 3,000 people died. Family members, siblings, friends, families, you name it. A lot of people died, and a very tragic day. And we all know the brave firefighters and police, men and women who sacrificed themselves to save the people who were trapped inside those two buildings. They will be known as heroes forever, risking and sacrificing themselves, and they will be known as heroes no matter what. Two other tragic events had happened that day. For one, another plane hitting the Pentagon in Washington, D.C., killing a few people, I believe. And then American Airlines 93 had crashed into Pennsylvania, I believe so, being hijacked. 9/11 was just a day where a lot of planes were hijacked and they crashed and just left 3,000 people dead, regardless. And this stream, we will be talking about our thoughts of it, on it. We'll be sharing stories of when we first found out about 9/11. But yeah, you already know who we are, but I'm going to introduce us because there could be new viewers. There's always new viewers. So for one, my name is PF19. I go by Alex because that's my real name. And over here, I have 427 Emerald.
Hi.
Over here, I have Nate the Great 15.
Hello, people.
Over here, I have Voltage.
Hey everyone.
And for the first time ever in our podcast, he has been a part of our squad for 3 years now. This is just his first podcast joining us today, and we're actually glad we could have him for this one. And this is Xander Howell.
Hello, everyone.
And yeah, so where do we even start? 9/11.
Also, guys, if you guys didn't know, Alexander Howell is our new member of the YouTube squad. If you guys didn't know.
Actually, he's been in our squad for 3 years, but this is just his first podcast. Right?
Yeah,
And
We would also like everyone to please be respectful in the comment, I mean in the chat, and not to say anything disrespectful regarding 9/11 because we would highly appreciate that. Thank you.
yeah,
and if you do that, it will result being blocked actually.
and
So
timeout.
yeah,
Because this is meant to be taken seriously. This was a very tragic day for all, really. So this is meant to be taken seriously. And so please, if if y'all be chatting, just please try to be respectful.
If you don't have
That's all we
anything
ask.
nice to say, keep it to yourself.
all right. So 9/11. Where do we begin? Um,
I mean, I guess we could
that's
start of how we first found out about it. If you
Yeah,
want.
who is gonna start?
I'll do it. So
Yeah, you do. You
I
do it.
didn't know about 9/11 when I was in kindergarten, which was on the 10th anniversary, which was September 11th, 2011. And I was in kindergarten class, and I remember that's when we started talking about the topic of the 9/11 attacks. And I remember sitting there my teacher was explaining about it, and I was actually one of the first to ask like what it was, and that's when I was told that it was about planes being hijacked. I didn't know what hijacked was, but until I asked what it was, she had told me that it means people have taken over the planes, like very bad people, terrorists, obviously, um, and they crashed into the World Trade Centers, and I was shocked. I actually remember, and I remember sitting there, and I'm just like, 3,000 people, and she was like, "Yep." I actually was mind blown at that time, and I was only in kindergarten. But when I hear a story about like millions of people dying or whatever, that's when I'll really be shocked. Like in like whatever situation it is, I'm going to be shocked on like the situation of how many people died or whatever, you know. So, but that's how I found out about the 9/11 attacks, and I also heard about the Pentagon and the Flight 93 killings as well later on in the day by my mom actually, and yeah, but that's actually when I found out about 9/11. So who wants to go next on when they found out about it?
I'll go next. Um, Now I can't really remember if this was ever came up when I used to go to public school and through kindergarten to first grade. I mean, I'm sure it has, but maybe, but I mean, then again, at the time, I just never really understood a lot of it. But I think when I really started to know about it is through this was like 2000, I want to say 2014. Uh, I ended up finding Spider because even then I was a really big Spider-Man fan, and I loved getting on the comics. And I found this really interesting one at some kind of bookstore, and I didn't think much to it. And then started so I was telling my parents they like to get this, so, obviously they got it and all that. And I read it. So it was interesting. I had a little had a little trouble following what was going on. I was kind of showing my dad, the comic too, 'cause he was interested in, what was too, because he's a Spider-Man fan as well. And I showed him, and he was kind of looking at it, and he was actually kind of explaining to me that this comic is actually based on true events, and because the Spider-Man comic is actually based on 9/11, it actually starts with Spider-Man coming in right when the towers will release after the second tower collapse. And it's even at the time after he explained it, I kind of understood what it was. But as I started and grew up and learn about it more, I was fully able to understand. But it's just looking back now, I mean, I've been kind of looking up the comic, was able to find 7 pages from it. It's just really heartbreaking, especially just seeing you know and people in the beginning, people were actually blaming Spider-Man for not being able to stop this. And it's just seeing the look is on his eyes. It's just it was very emotional. And but yeah, that was probably like I said, the first time I ever fully heard about what actually happened that day. So so if anyone
All
wants to
right,
go next.
who's next?
Well,
All right, Nate's gonna go next.
okay, fine. I think when I was when I think it was the year I think when I remember it was the year 2012. So when I saw, okay, I think when my mom told me when I was like going to school, right, the elementary, right, listen, I don't remember all the things, okay, but one thing she told me is she was like my mom told me she was with a hotel, I think like cool hotel, um she with the with her three sisters, right? No, three sisters, yeah. And it was a normal day, and my dad has to go to work and stuff. Casually normal stuff. And until manager said like turn on the TV, and someone said someone said what channel? He said any channel, and he put on CNN news, and he saw the first thing what my mom saw was the one building that caught on fire. Well,
The North Tower.
the North Tower got on
Most.
how how you say it,
Like like yeah, like the plane
crashed,
crashed into the.
and that while she
Mhm.
saw that, she was crying and doesn't know what was going on. But as soon as the clock time goes by, when when she saw another plane came by, destroyed the other the other tower, he
Yeah,
she was she was
I hate to
cr-
stop you there for a second. But one thing that was like really disturbing coming out of like the broadcast that day is that a lot of people from around the world saw that second plane hit the second tower. It was literally caught on camera
Oh, yeah.
multiple times,
Yeah,
and
you can actually see footage from that from news. You can actually, well, it was just reporting from the first tower getting hit, and while now you hear someone talking about it, you can actually see the second plane hitting the north. Is that correct? The north tower, north and south tower, or the
it was at
second tower.
it was at 8:46 a.m.
Yeah,
When the first plane hit the first tower, and then it was 9:03 a.m. where
second
the
tower hit
second plane hit the other. Yeah.
yeah
It was 9:59 a.m. when the south tower collapsed, and it was 10:28, I believe, when the second tower collapsed.
it's very surprising how yeah, they collapsed, but they still hold together as long as they did.
It's
Yeah.
amazing how they like really stood in there for 2 hours, and then
Yeah,
but
even
go
after
ahead with
being hit.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I saw.
Go ahead
Yeah.
with yeah. Continue
okay.
with your story, Nate.
I'll continue my story. So when my mom saw the second tower destroy the other tower, she was crying so badly that her sisters saw that day that the two planes destroyed the twin towers. And when my dad realized that twin towers, the the World Trade Towers, whatever you call them, um, um, I think he heard it on the radio or on TV. I don't remember, but when he saw the World Trade I'm just gonna call them Twin Towers. When he saw when he heard the Twin Towers got collapsed, it was like when he heard of it, he was checking if my mom was okay, because we don't know if the terrorist was going all over the place, is hitting all the other, you know you know what I'm talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were checking if she was okay and stuff, and yeah, everything was, it was horrible it was horrible that day. That's all I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, that day is
Akin,
terrible.
is there any story as to how
Uh,
you first found out about it?
uh, yeah, I'll go.
Uh, 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 uh,
No, I was talking to Akin.
No, okay. I
Way to
can go
steal
ahead.
my spotlight. All right. So I don't think I found out when I was in kindergarten, but I think I found out when I was in second grade. I learned this from my mom, because one day it was, the day 9/11 happened in second grade, and she showed me, all the tragic events that occurred that day, and she told me that more than 1,000 people were trapped in the World Trade Center, the Twin Towers buildings, and how the planes hit the buildings, and most of them didn't, make it out alive. And after hearing that, I was pretty much devastated. And it's crazy to think about it too, because all those people, were all innocent, and all of a sudden, out of the blue, a freaking plane comes out of nowhere and crashes into a building, taking the lives of innocent people. It's crazy to think about.
Yeah.
And like the worst part is like it was just a normal average day. Everyone knows that until all of a sudden a plane just comes in and just like ruins everything. It's a lot of New York City actually underwent a shutdown. I think everywhere in the United States had underwent a shutdown because they didn't know if it was like a terrorist attack on their country or whatever. But
They thought it was an act of war.
yeah.
Yeah.
Xander, when did you first find out about 9/11?
I I'll say this. I knew about 9/11 for a while, but I didn't really understand what it was until around 2015 when my mom told me. Um, like the way my mom told me, she did it in like a childish way, so I wouldn't burst into tears. She was she was she was basically saying, uh, like a plane hit one tower and another plane hit the other tower, and not long after they both collapsed. And after hearing that, I was I was kind of frightened. If it was that made me afraid of air travel, and I'm pretty sure everyone can understand can everyone here can understand why.
Yeah,
Yeah, when I
see,
saw
like the
that too,
thing,
I
yeah,
never on a plane at all.
Yeah.
yeah. To be
We
honest
all
with
have
you,
that fear actually.
yeah, to be honest with you, I've never really been on a plane before in my
Same
entire
here.
life,
Yeah, same.
and
Uh,
Yeah, same.
honestly, the reason to it is because of 9/11, because you never know how your day. The thing about life is like it's very unpredictable. You never know what's gonna happen, and you never know if like
Yeah,
a hijacker would just come out of nowhere and just take over the plane, and
y-
You know. Yeah.
y-
yeah.
yeah,
um, yeah, you know.
and one and 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 one thing I didn't know that my mom didn't tell me until earlier today. Uh, my my uncle was meant to be on one of those planes, but he got caught up in traffic, and he didn't make it to the airport.
Oh, thank God.
Lucky him.
Glad he did it. All
Oh
right.
my God. I'm
I'm so
glad he.
glad.
I'm actually glad. Yeah,
Lucky one.
I'm glad.
I'm glad that
I'm
your
very
uncle
glad
didn't go to that plane.
Yeah,
because
I was glad. I wasn't even born yet, and plus, I freaking love my uncle. He is like one of the funniest guys you can talk to.
Yeah.
Hmm.
um. So now that we told like when we found out, I don't really know what else we could talk about, but like we can talk about our thoughts on it, like
Yeah.
you know.
Well,
You can go first.
oh, sorry, did you want to go first?
Yeah, you can go first.
Okay. Well, I think when it comes to this, it's a very hard subject to, you know, talk about. Especially, like I said, especially since, as I grew up more, especially I got to understand it, and a couple of years ago, I joined this community or whatever, classical conversation, something like that, and then there was this like song about everything that happened in history. But then when we got to part where it's mentioned September 11th, 2001, I really thought I was actually gonna, you know, go in tears, and I was kind of looking around like everybody kind of had a sad face, but like I felt like I was just the only one that was actually going to start bursting into tears because I know like all the horrible stuff that's happened, and it just but going forward from this, I really wish that this never happened. Obviously, I'm not the only one. Everybody does. It's not just me. And
It's all of us.
I just don't know why we live in a world where things like this happen. I just wish I would just I mean, because like I said, because of this, I literally have a fear of going on a plane now, and at the same time, be something I would love to try to do. I mean, I know they say it's still the safest way to travel, but it's just like in my mind, like I want to believe that, but it's just seeing everything that's happened. It's just like, w- well, I mean, so many hijacks happened last year. I mean, some you know, and especially, and it's not just that too. I mean, like could happen to the plane. My fear is like something would happen to the plane, or it would just crash down, or but but still, but I just, and especially every day seeing all the kinds of all people that do such things just makes me heartburn. But it's just, and I've kind of imagined, like, what if, the whole 9/11 thing didn't even happen? Like, what would change? I mean, the obvious change that the twin towers would still be here, obviously. And but like, you know how people say there's kind of like the butterfly effect, like if you change one thing, a whole bunch of different things could change all at once. Like, makes me wonder,
Mm-hmm.
like, what else would change besides the towers being, here, still standing. Like, I mean, I haven't really thought about like anything that would change, but it's like been on my mind, especially all day today, since it is September 11th. It's just been on my mind, like, you know what what would change, like what else would be different in our world, like would it be a good change, would it be a bad change, or would it be maybe a little bit of mix of both? I mean, I guess we can't really know for sure, since we can't, obviously we don't have the technology where we can do that, but uh but you know what I'm trying to say though. But yeah, I guess that's what I have to say for that.
Um, Something that I will say is I think it's just very disgusting how terrorists just crashed into two towers that were like a huge national landmark to the entire country. And yes, that is actually the reason why the towers were attacked, because they were a national landmark in the United States.
Yeah,
And
the same thing for.
yeah, same goes for like the White House, the Statue of Liberty, the Empire State Building. Just like any popular landmark anywhere in the United States, they are huge
I know in
landmarks.
St.
And
Louis,
huh?
I know in St. Louis, I believe that I think, did they actually try to take down the arch? Because I thought I heard somewhere where they tried to.
I don't know, but there have been stories going around. Well, there was obviously stories that people try to take down the White House, but failed, obviously. Um, the Empire
Yeah.
State Building has actually been attacked in this actually type of situation before, and I just found out about this the other day, that a plane in the 1940s, I believe, crashed
Yeah.
into the Empire State Building, but it didn't like collapse or anything. But
It wasn't because I think it didn't collapse because, yeah, it did leave a lot of damage, but it wasn't as bad as the towers were. And plus, I
um
think I think the Empire State Building was built differently. Maybe it was more sturdy or whatever, I guess you could say.
yeah, and there's actually this simulation video that I found that showed like a little damage in the Trade Center, not like real life, but like simulation wise, as to like maybe as to how the towers collapsed, is how the area from the 83rd to 89th floors in the first tower, how like the fire inside may have like melted like some of the structures, and the towers couldn't just like hang on anymore, and once those like structures melted or just like broke apart or whatever, that's when the towers collapsed. And there was actually a theory a while ago that aluminum had something to do with the towers collapsing. I thought that was interesting because you see, the World Trade Centers were meant to be, the Twin Towers were meant to be like somewhat indestructible, like the Titanic, for example, where it says that it's not going to sink, but it just ended up doing so. The Twin Towers, I feel like the more impact that they could have possibly had, then that's what happened. It's like two planes like traveling at a speed of like 300 miles per hour or something, whatever,
Man,
crashed
you were
like
going pretty fast.
yeah, very fast, and caused the towers to collapse because the fires were still inside, and like I said, might have melted or destroyed something, and that caused the towers to collapse. I always thought it was because of the holes that the plane caused, but it turns
Mm.
out by watching a simulation video, it just seemed like something must have gotten destroyed, and it couldn't hold on much longer, and that's when the towers went down. So,
You know what makes me more about this though is that
hmm
the fact that the terrorists they didn't care about their lives at all. Obviously, it's just like they probably died knowing that they were successful in this.
and you know, it's something is that I still don't know why this happened in the first place. Honestly, I don't think anybody knows why it happened in the first place. It's
Well,
not. It's not really because it was their national landmarks, but no one knows like the reasons to it. Like what started this first of all,
yeah,
and
Right.
I'm sure
it's
at least somewhat of a part of it has to do with national landmarks. But yeah, I see what you're saying. I don't think that's the main reason. I
because
mean,
if that was
we
the
would.
main reason, then like first of
Yeah, if
all,
that was
that's
the main
just
reason,
showing you.
every national landmark would be gone by now.
Yeah, the Golden Gate Bridge could have been gone if that was the reason, honestly. And but in all
Statue of Liberty
seriousness,
could be gone too.
yeah, the Statue of Liberty could have been gone. The Empire State Building could have been gone again. Um,
yeah.
the Brooklyn Bridge,
Oh,
the Manhattan Bridge,
right.
those landmarks could have been gone. Anything could have been gone.
Right.
The White House could have been gone. The Capitol of Washington, that could have been gone. Anything really. And you know, the sad part is, I don't mean to scare anybody when I say this, but something like 9/11 could possibly happen again someday. It's just scary to know that's how the world is when it comes to that type of stuff. And
Well, yeah, I mean, the way people with the way the world, the kind of world we live in, if this did ever something like this ever happen again, I mean, I don't mean like to sound like I wouldn't care, but at this point, I just, in a way, it would be shocking, but in a way, it just wouldn't surprise me like as much. Because I mean, this is just the world we live in, and it's just as much as I want it to happen. I mean, like I said, this is the world we live in, so there's a good chance it could happen. I'm not saying it's going to happen now, but like kind of in the near future.
you never know, really.
Yeah, you
Y-
know.
You never
Yeah,
really know.
It's
Never know,
you
unpredictable.
dude.
can't.
Um, let's let's go into the most disturbing thing when it comes to this day. The most disturbing thing, and this is gonna like shiver down a lot of people's spines. It shivered
Oh
down. It
yeah,
gave me like it literally scared me, and it just really broke my heart to know that people in the towers didn't have a choice. What do I mean by that? Well, if you guys don't know, people jumped out of the buildings to save themselves, and sadly, they didn't make it.
well, that's they didn't jump out to save themselves. Well, I
I,
don't. Well,
I mean,
I
I
don't
don't
really think they jumped to save themselves. I think they just jumped because like no,
they
I don't
didn't want
think
to
they
be
wanted to.
burned.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think if they knew they were gonna die, I think the reason just was is like if they were gonna die, they didn't want to die being have the tower collapse on them or being burnt alive. They just
Yeah,
wanted to die.
That would
yeah,
make more sense.
yeah.
yeah.
I know where Andrew's coming from. Like it's either the tower collapses and you don't die and you suffer in pain, or you jump and just have an instant and painless death.
Yeah,
And you know, the thing is I'm pretty sure when the people hit the ground, it's over.
It's really disturbing.
yeah.
It's and there are videos where you see people
Yeah,
jump
there
out of
are.
the
Like if
building.
you look closely, even on
It's
news reports,
legit heartbreaking.
it was
And
just, but yeah, like kind of like Xander was saying, like
but
either
you
you
are
survive this whole thing, but be just be uh crap. What's the word?
burned alive or you go down in
No,
the tower. Or wait, what did you? Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, like it's just traumatic, I guess. But yeah,
You know,
that's probably the main reason why they just decided to jump.
and I honestly, I never really want to imagine myself in that situation, but I probably would have done the same thing just to jump out of the building. I probably would have done the same thing because,
Yeah. As much as I don't want to, die, I would probably jump too. Cause like, if I was
cause
lucky enough
the
to survive, I don't even think I would even last a day without at least trying to, because of how traumatic I would be.
and the worst part is like people just die and it's things happen too fast. People just die and that's it. Whether it's suicide or being murdered,
Right.
there's
Yeah.
it's and with these people it's different because when they jumped out, they obviously knew that before they had jumped out they were gonna die, but it was their decision, and I don't blame them. If there was a reason, there was a reason. But it's very disturbing just to how people jumped out of the building knowing that they'd still die, but it was their decision. They didn't want to be burned down, like burned alive, or they didn't want to go down with the tower. And I can understand what those people were thinking that day. Um, Something else that is also very disturbing coming out of this, and it's the same level as the people jumping out, is how there are voicemails from that day with loved ones saying goodbye to the people that they'll never see again.
Um,
um
Yeah, I've seen that. Really traumatizing,
it was
Those are those are
especially hearing of help.
actually
you can go. You
But
can go.
yeah, sorry. But like, and literally in the video, you just hear like voicemails from different people, and especially there's a call where someone's calling because they're trapped in the building, and like you could actually hear that like
oh the tower
with us you're
collapsing
playing
on them.
yeah
Oh
the
my
collapse
god.
of them
Yeah,
because
you
you just
can hear.
you,
I
you
think
hear
the
just
guy's
them
name
screaming and it cuts and then
I think the guy's name. I actually found out who the guy's name was on the phone, and that his name was Kevin Cosgrove, and his like,
I find that out.
and it was actually from like 9/11. Well, it was actually from a disturbing phone call video. I'm not gonna go
Wow.
into it, but the guy who brought it up said the dude's name, and that's how I found out who it was. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, Kevin and his friend were stuck, and he stated in the message, well, the call, that he said that they were in a room full of smoke with two broken windows, and right after he said two broken windows, that's when he screams, "Oh God, no!" And then that's when it, you know,
I think I've heard that before.
you
That's really
can.
his
Yeah,
last words.
And I'm gonna assume that he was either in one of the floors where the plane hit the tower, probably on the top. Um,
there's even one part in the beginning where it shows a voicemail from someone and then it cuts to right when the plane hits the I think the north or south tower.
yeah, I've heard that one too. There's just a lot of voicemails. There's actually voicemails from the people that were in the planes that hit the towers actually as well.
Yeah.
There was this
Yeah,
one, yeah, there was this one call that was like, I'm in a plane that's hijacked, and she was just like, I hope I can see your face again. I love you so much. And then she said goodbye, and that was it. It's,
yeah. My when she said goodbye, that's when plane. Yeah,
well, she
So
hung up,
and
but then probably
there was
hung up.
one from the plane that was also being hijacked with the bomb. I think because the plane that crashed down. Would you say was?
American Airlines Flight 93.
Yeah, because I think that one was the one that not only was being hijacked but also had a bomb in it,
Yeah,
but
because
that
I heard
crashed
a
down.
distress call. Yeah, there's like this distress call that someone said that there's a bomb on this plane. There's a bomb on this plane. There was something like that. Um, but it's and my thoughts. I couldn't even sleep one day after I heard those voicemails. To be honest, because of the
same
like
here.
I mean,
Same here.
Yes, I made the mistake of listening to that at night, and then I was just heartbroken after that. I couldn't sleep for the rest of the night.
I was I was heartbroken, but I was mostly horrified because I was
Well, yeah,
like,
too.
it's like, and it's
It was
sad
just
too
knowing that
knowing
the
that.
voicemails were actually real, and they were from real life people that died that day.
Yeah, they were from
Hmm.
real life people. It's incredible how there's really voicemails from the day it actually happened though. It's and you can, and it's not, and the haters that are going to say it's fake voicemails, how about you shut up, because it's actually real voicemails, and the people in the voicemails actually were starting to cry. They were really scared. They were trying to inform the loved ones, and it's
I guarantee you, the people that like the people who sent the loved ones, the last voicemail, I guarantee you that they still save that voicemail because knowing that that was the last time that you like
you know
he or she
Wait,
would
guys, here's my question. How did they get the voicemails? Like how did he
I
get
don't
it?
know, to
Well,
be honest.
I
I don't
think
really
they
know.
record them or something.
Yeah,
yeah,
because
well,
maybe I don't know, but
Because there's
on the
no
um
way they
satellite.
because there's no way they can record the voicemails. Like
when well, going back to what Andrew was saying when he said that I the loved ones probably kept the voicemails. Um, yeah, to be honest with you, I think it's really hard to think about like whether you should keep that voicemail or not. But um,
It was the
like
last time you ever got a good yet loved one.
yeah, it's hard to. I think there are some people I know who got those messages that probably deleted them because but it's hard for them to hear it. But then there's probably some that save them knowing that's like the last time they'll hear them, and it's amazing because I think people still have those, and those voicemails were from 2001, and we're in 2020 now. It's been 19 years since it happened, and
yeah.
Yeah,
so what else is there to talk about? The fact that everyone thought it was a new war.
Hmm.
yeah. That's when everybody thought World War III was gonna start.
Yeah, this was
I mean,
somewhat
and
close to
really,
like
I wouldn't blame them.
this was
Yeah.
near a World War III level because you know
It really
I
was.
and to me World War III, I would hate to be a part of World War III happening, honestly. But in my personal opinion, 9/11 is definitely the closest thing we've ever gotten to a World War III around the 2000s, but
Yeah, it would.
Yeah.
we're in the 2020s now, and ever since then, well, besides from the Boston bombing that happened in 2013, that's a different story, even though that had a similar situation to it. But I think since then, there's never been a day like 9/11. Even though the
Yeah,
Boston bombing, like I said, was somewhat similar to that, but
but
it's
yeah. I can people would believe that that was going to be a new type of war because not only did the towers, obviously get hit and collapse, but like we said before, the Pentagon's also got, and those were national landmarks, and
the
nobody
Pentagon.
knew.
9/11 was mostly focused on the trade centers, though, and but the
Yeah,
Pentagon
I
was
know.
the Pentagon was like very very strange because I I think half people died when the plane hit
Uh,
the Pentagon,
uh,
but like yeah.
yeah, and from what and, and from what I found out, the Pentagon is like a tech place. It's where like it's where like the FBI can like track down hackers and things, or criminals who are like holding hostages who like call the cops.
Yeah, a lot of cops were called that day too. And the thing is like
It was
even though
being-
there were cops that day that knew that they weren't gonna be able to save those people, but they did anyways because it was the ultimate sacrifice, and they are heroes still
If
to this
many
day.
people as they could,
Yeah,
but in
and
the end, they couldn't.
Yeah.
They couldn't save everybody.
but they're still heroes because they
Exactly.
made the ultimate sacrifice even if you don't save people, you're still a hero regardless of it depends on the sacrifice you make. And the Twin Towers, they were really big
it's not
sacrifices.
how many people you save. It's the amount of braveness you have and the courage you have in you.
Knowing
Exactly.
that maybe it'll be your last day or not, and depending on what it was, you're still a hero. You tried it, you were brave to do what you, because those firefighters and cops have a job, and it's meant to save people, and whether you don't save people or not, you're still a hero. And
Yes,
yeah,
do
it's,
something to do the job. They,
and though cops and firefighters probably knew that they weren't going to do it, they still did it because they're not going to leave the people trapped in there at least. But the worst part is that the towers collapsing, that we no one knew that was going to happen.
It's
It's hard to
terrifying.
believe that the towers. It's hard to believe that the towers collapsed, and you
there's
know.
actually footage from a news broadcast that was from on the ground, where it has the camera showing
Uh,
both, and then it actually shows the tower getting collapsed.
Uh, okay. To answer to answer Alex's question from earlier, I this is what makes it even more messed up. But but the planes who hit the tower were both going 590 miles per hour each.
Jesus Christ.
590.
That's way faster than
Dude.
freaking.
And the videos. A lot of people recorded the videos that when the planes were hit, obviously, and when the towers
It's
were hit.
yeah, it's very
A
it's
lot of them
terrifying to
involved
see that.
a lot of them involved crying and screaming, which
It's terrifying to
Yeah.
see like where they're
Or
going
even
through.
there's a video when the first plane hit. It's like it was just someone recording something, and then all of a sudden everybody started looking up in the sky because they heard a plane, but it was really loud and it was close to the ground. When you looked up, when it hit it,
um. So I
and
wanted to talk
everybody knew.
about
Everybody thought, oh,
um.
you go. Sorry.
Okay. So I want. Sorry if I'm talking a lot, but Oh, I wanted to talk about like a theory is that a lot of people throughout the years and still believe that 9/11 is a inside job.
Um, hold up. That's illegal.
Uh,
Hold up.
but,
Hold on a freaking second. That's illegal.
okay. I'm saying this. The World
There's a
Trade
lot of people
Center.
who think that.
I know.
There's a lot of people who think
The
that.
Yo,
World Trade Center for its time
black
had
guys,
a
look in the
lot
camera.
had a lot of inside security, so that would have been impossible.
They were just out there lighting firecrackers. They can't do that out here.
Hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
There are people
People lighting
across from my
firecrackers.
house
Yeah.
lighting firecrackers inside the building. They can't do that here. That's not.
Wait, and
Hold.
I thought when you said illegal, I thought you meant like a lot of people thought it was an inside job being illegal, but
No. I meant that there were people outside my house shooting firecrackers where they can't.
uh, uh, yeah. As I was saying,
Sorry
the
for interrupting.
yeah, it's fine.
fine.
The World Trade Center for its time, even though it was the early 2000s, it had a lot of inside security on each floor, so an inside job would have been near impossible.
And the thing is if it was an inside job, I believe a lot of people, even in the United States, probably would have known about it before it happened. I think, even though it was the early 2000s and there wasn't really much internet, because things like Google and YouTube didn't exist at the time. But like, still, if they heard it through like a
yeah,
TV
Well,
or whatever,
Google,
it or
Google, what was around, it was just in its testing
yeah,
era.
It's
fine.
early stage.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah, they
Um,
just YouTube didn't come on to 2005.
yeah,
Wait, hang on.
yeah. YouTube came
It
out
was
later, but
2005, yeah. I think June, something like that.
yep.
Let me look it up.
But going
You
back into it being an inside job, how could something like this? How could a national terrorist attack in our country be an inside job. Like,
It makes no sense because for its time there was a lot of security on the inside of both towers.
and you guys, if you guys don't know the whole story, can I be honest with you guys? For people who don't know about it, this is the second time in life where the World Trade Center towers were actually collapsed. Well, not collapsed, but like attacked. You know what I'm trying to say?
But, you know,
Um,
yeah, because it was eventually bombed at one point.
yeah. If you guys don't know, there was a 1993 bombing in the World Trade Center
Yeah.
that injured like thousands of people and killing
Hmm.
six. That was actually a terrorist attack plan, and it was actually those bombs underneath the trade towers were actually meant to bring the towers down. Thank God it didn't. But however, the terrorists, I believe the terrorists who did the bombings in 1993 were the same people who did the plane. I'm not really sure. But I heard
It would have
stories about, yeah, and I heard stories about like the terrorists saying, "Don't worry, we'll get them next time," and you know,
they unfortunately did because this
yeah,
was the second attempt and they did. They did it.
yeah, it worked. It's, it's just this. I don't know. It's very disturbing, and you can see
It really
and
is.
you yeah, and you can see videos like before the people jump out. You can see them like hanging from the broken windows. It's
And
like deciding like should I jump or should I stay? And there was actually one where you see three people falling at the same time. I feel like one person was pushed, and yeah, I don't know what to say about that one, but I do feel like that since there were all three of them together, I feel like someone was pushed, and uh,
well, either that or they just all decided they were just going to jump.
together at least.
Yeah.
And also, back to the topic of people jumping out of the buildings. There is a video where you hear the people hitting the ground. It's
Terrifying.
Yeah.
That
It's
that that is the most unpleasant sound I heard in my life.
It really
yeah,
yeah
is.
and yeah, you can hear a
disturbing.
firefighter say, and you know when they hit the ground, that's a life that's been taken. And I'm just like, and you can even see the firefighters turn around and like utter silence and shock that they heard a body hit the freaking ground. That sound is just I never thought I'd hear that sound in my entire
It's
life, honestly.
horrifying. It's just
And a lot of people thought that President Bush at the time, George W. Bush, he was behind the 9/11 attacks. I find that impossible, honestly. I don't know why a president of the United States of America would be behind something that was really a huge part of our country. Now, say whatever you want, but keep your opinions to yourself. Whatever, disagree, but keep it to your freaking self. I don't want to see anything. Like we said, I don't
I
want to
don't
see
really,
anything rude about it.
really think that that's the case. I don't even know why people would even question that.
Because it's just negative people who hate presidents at the time. Um, but
Well, I mean, I know it's not a way, and especially with uh, not that all presidents are, are the greatest, but I know for sure that they wouldn't do anything like this.
Yeah.
besides, I have actually seen footage of the trade towers before 9/11, and let me tell you, those towers were freaking beautiful. They were just
They
night look.
were
They look
glorious.
so.
Not gonna lie.
They look yeah. They look very nice, honestly.
Indeed.
Yeah.
However,
Uh, uh, I don't. Well, one thing I heard is that there were rumors going around at the time, not that long after both towers collapsed, that that the guys over at New York wanted to rebuild the towers, but they're like,
yeah,
no, we're just gonna turn this into a into a memorial area for all those lives we lost.
yeah. See, the thing is
They were
about
building the towers, but then decided not to.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
big topic was rebuilding the towers. I mean, as cool as it would have been, I don't think it's a good idea at the same time because it could
Because it's
scare
a big
people.
chance it would. Yeah, it would. Because there was a big. Because it could be a big chance. Because they were literally going to recreate the whole thing from scratch and just rebuild the whole thing. But and if they did, like you said, yeah, it would scare people into knowing that there would be a big chance that they would
It's
just
gonna happen
try
again.
to. Yeah,
The area
Someone's
the area that the Twin Towers used to be in. If you look at pictures there from like the past couple of years, from what I found out, there are millions of flowers there arriving every year.
Yeah, every day
now I've
there's
seen
like
images on Google. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
oh, go ahead. You can go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, I've seen images where it shows where the towers used to stand of like two light beams. Like my question is that actually something they do,
Uh,
like on a specific day, or is that just
Are you
for
talking about like the?
editing?
Are you talking
it's
about
a
like the blue
memorial thing.
lights?
I'm pretty sure.
Are you talking about the
Probably.
blue lights? Are you talking about like the blue lights that are shown at nighttime at
Yeah,
that moment?
yeah,
That's a memorial. That's a memorial thing.
Yeah.
That
yeah.
is a memorial thing.
I kind of figured. I just I've seen a lot of them. I just didn't know if it was edited in, you know, or if it was actually something they did.
Yeah, it's
Now, is
something
it
to do.
something they only do on September 11th, or is it something they actually shine every night?
It's every night. If it was every September 11th, I don't really know how I would feel about that, but you don't have to remember 9/11 on the exact day. You remember this every day, not because it happened
That's
on that day,
something
but
every day.
and
You
we
shouldn't
in the past,
worry about it.
and obviously we in the past have talked about 9/11 before and after the day, so
Oh yeah.
we were just talking about it the other day because it was getting close to that moment, and
Yeah.
but I want to talk about. I also want to talk about the One World Trade Center, the Freedom Tower, and how people feel about it, what people think about it. Um,
Yeah, I've heard that she kind of. I mean, some people, not like many, but some people are just have like a lot of speculation and have a lot of worry that the one World Trade Center could get attacked again.
Yeah.
Same thing
that
happened.
yeah. A lot of people don't like the tower because they want the Twin Towers back and they think it's kind of retarded to put that. But it's called Freedom Tower actually, and it's supposed to be like another sister, another guideline from the with what the Twin Towers were, and
Yeah,
it's next to it's next to where originally the Twin Towers were because there's that 9/11 memorial with all the people's names that died on that day from the towers. You
Yeah.
know, it's now I will be honest with you, there is a part of me that wishes that wasn't there because I think the Twin Towers were just a huge landmark, but most of me is saying that, even if the Twin Towers were rebuilt, then it's gonna scare people. We're like driving and seeing them and just like you thinking of a plane hitting the towers again like it was. And
we as much as how cool that would probably be if they were lucky enough, it would still be standing to this day. It would just encourage more terrorists to just take it down until we don't need another recreation of that day, honestly. Or
no, no, we don't. I mean, honestly, I wish the towers were still around. I really do, honestly. Uh, and there's
yeah.
actually also a video where this guy's dad, he actually told him that his dad had told him the towers are gonna be there forever and ever and ever, and that just didn't age well. Um, the towers could have still been here today, even in 2020, honestly. But
I would love to see them up close, to be honest.
I would have loved to go on the top, all the way on the top, just to see the entirety of
Yeah,
New York City.
I have a thing. I kind of have afraid of heights, but even then, I would still want to go on the top just to get an amazing view.
To to be honest, the highest I would make would I would make it would just be the 10th floor because I'm afraid of heights.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's mostly going near the ledge that they
Go on
have
the edge.
for me. Yeah.
I don't. I think that'd be fine. But like, if I went on, if I went up to the railing on the edge, I would. I don't think I would do that. But like, I kind of would just stand right smack in the middle
Hmm.
Right.
and just
And just admire the view,
yeah,
the
check
beautiful. Yeah.
view of all the
Um.
buildings and view of the other tower right next to it.
Mhm. It's. I feel like for us, it's a missed opportunity. To me, honestly, very missed opportunity. Honestly, but we
But
weren't born at
considering
the
you
time.
actually 1.2.
Um. I want to also mention. Actually, so at the end of this stream, well, before we end the stream, not yet. We're gonna have a moment of silence for the people who died that day. So, you
Oh,
know, just
well,
because I think it's appropriate if we do that.
Yeah,
That would be
yeah,
nice.
yeah.
Um,
Just minutes of moment of silence to kind of just remember all the people,
yeah,
everything that happened.
who are
I think remember all
brave
the
and
yeah.
yeah, remember all the brave people who
I
sacrificed. Okay,
I
I
could,
think I feel.
this is something I don't think a lot of people say, but the people who died on that day are our heroes as well.
Yeah.
You know, the people who
Yeah.
died are our heroes as well. My heroes as well. The firefighters, cops too. Everyone, they're our heroes, regardless. It's it's amazing.
There was a movie
The
about everything that happened. So like, it's actually called the World Trade Center. I think it, fits, perfectly with, everything that's happened. It's very emotionally, and
the one problem
yes,
I
I
have with
know
the film,
Nick Cage than but
right?
still,
One problem I have with that film is how it came out 5 years after it happened. I thought that was way too early. It came out in 2006. I thought that was way too early, but
Hey, that was the year I was born.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah, the
yeah.
movie came out after you were born. But what I'm trying to say, I thought it was too early that they made that film because even in 2006, it would have been 5 years since it happened, and people weren't
Like
over it still.
the Titanic disaster, they waited like 50 years to even make a film.
Uh huh.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
Hmm.
Yeah.
wait. You were supposed to make a moment of silence?
And at
No,
the
not
end of the
yet. We're
stream.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
not
It's at the
yet.
end.
Yeah. When I 9/11 affected a lot of movies around the 2001 era.
Some of the
Um,
Yeah.
nine, some okay. So the that one 9/11 movie, not the movie called World Trade Center. That movie was so good. But the one
mhm.
called 9/11, what was
Oh
No,
that?
that one
God.
was. I am sorry. I don't mean to sound rude, but that even it literally made no sense whatsoever. It was basically literally the whole film. You just see the main protagonist inside the elevator of the World Trade Center,
And
and it
that's
doesn't
literally the
even
whole
show
movie.
much of it at all.
I think what really affects me about the 9/11 movies is they show real life footage of when it happens. So,
Yeah.
Like the World Trade
Yeah.
yeah, like
footage of
the
people falling, that's
yeah
real life footage.
yeah the real life broadcast footage and stuff. Oh God. Um, but something else but about movies that came out. Movies that were filmed in 2000 or 2001. They had not movies that came out in 2001, but that were filmed and before they were supposed to come out in 2001. They were still They were still in progress on editing. When the towers were hit, and they had to go back and remove the towers from any scene that they did in New York City. There are some movies around that time that still have the towers in them. Spider-Man, for example. Um, but in general, they, you know, it was
Yeah, the towers appeared in that movie a few times. Some you can barely tell, but some you can clearly see them.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and there is a
Or
Spider-Man.
distant.
There is a Spider-Man Twin Tower trailer. For people that have seen that trailer and are asking, was that supposed to be a scene? No, it wasn't supposed to be a scene. It was just to promote the trailer for the movie. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, even in the movie, what it shows, the lens, what shows the Spider-Man's lens zooming out, you can actually see the towers. So for
that's in
some
the movie
reason, I
too.
don't really know why. I don't know if it was just for a tribute to them, or they just either that, or they just didn't feel like CGI that part out.
Hmm.
Mm.
Another thing about 9/11 is how crap. I don't know how to say it. Is how people just react like you is how when people were digging under the rubbles of the collapse, they found body parts. They found body parts
I mean,
in the
they
rubble.
did.
Ears, noses, mouth, eyes, fingers. And they had to call the people uh, who knew them. And when they did, and they told them, the loved ones hung up. And before they hung up, they said, I need a moment. And then they hung up. It's
It was very depressing.
I wouldn't
Just
even want to imagine being one of those people who had to clean the rubble and found body parts everywhere.
Yeah,
Honestly,
that is like most disturbing thing you would ever see in your entire
yeah,
life.
there was debris everywhere too.
Degree?
Honestly,
yeah.
you know, the debris is like the building parts, like
Oh,
windows.
Yeah.
oh
It's
yeah,
made
yeah,
up
Yeah,
of
yeah.
smoke.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, right, right, right.
Yeah, smoke.
But you know
It
what's
is.
so disturbing? You could like when you see body parts of dead people, it's so just like it's like seeing like
Or even just seeing a dead body and just posting at
just
burying that,
imagine.
how
Listen, just imagine
disturbing
seeing
that
a
would be.
dead body in person. It's oh, I don't know how to say that.
It breaks your heart, dude.
Yeah, it really does.
You don't know how to feel. You're
Horrifies you,
scared. You get sick. You either throw up. You get scared. You just feel a lot of stuff.
traumatized even.
Honestly.
Weak at sometimes.
A lot of people are saying like helicopters were there. Yeah, helicopters were there and they could have like grabbed people, but on all honesty, if they had done that, they would have died too. Honestly, I
Yeah,
yeah,
I
I
don't
mean
even
they
know
have
how they would even be able to get them.
true. Honestly,
Because
the
all the
worst.
debris that was falling, it could have easily hit one of the helicopters that tried to, save him, and and that be crashing down and make it more worse than it already
videos of
was.
videos of people screaming, crying, saying, "What the hell is going on?" Everyone's like, "It's terrorists." It's like, oh my god, it's horrible. Just
Yeah, it's kind of crazy though, because like when the first plane hit, everybody just thought it was all just an accident. But when the second plane hit, that's when everybody knew that this was no accident. This was
the
some kind of
reason, if
actual
you want to know how they
thing.
found out it was no accident, is because everyone saw the plane literally went straight, and I mean straight. It did not even bother to turn around. It didn't even look like it was out of control. It just went straight into the second tower. And
Yeah.
the worst part is people didn't know what to do. They didn't know what to do.
All they knew was just to run.
It was clearly obvious. I'm not trying to say this to be rude or whatever, um, but it was obvious that not everyone was going to be saved that day. It was pretty obvious
Yeah.
because the position they were in, the whole, it's just messed up.
It really is.
And you know, mothers, fathers, grandparents, uncles, siblings, girlfriends, boyfriends, husbands, children, they all died. Everyone died.
She was
It's
just
just really hard, but so
So 9/11 is something we can never forget, though.
is the
yeah,
20
most
it's been
years,
very
is the
yeah,
most
20,
America's tragic moment in our entire life.
it was the last
it's
day
part
everyone in America.
it's,
It was the
yeah, it's the
last day
most
in,
not it's the most important and tragic event in history,
it was
basically.
it was the last day everyone in America was scared, honestly, because ever since then, and it's that just at 8:46 a.m. That's when the world became what it is today. Honestly, just a scared world, knowing that
Yeah,
something like like I said earlier in the stream, that something like 9/11 could possibly happen again sometime in the near future. So, and
it should be something we're just prepared for.
it's just whether it's the White House, the Empire State Building,
Even Freedom Tower.
Freedom Tower, whatever it
Like,
is, it's
like,
most likely going to happen. It would probably happen on those, and it's
I don't know
You
with
you'll never
landmarks, but like what everybody's
whatever.
going after.
you'll never
The
know.
Statue of Liberty too.
Good thing that
Just
didn't get like
landmarks that
destroyed.
the killers are
The
just
Statue
wanting
of
to
Liberty.
destroy.
The landmarks that we actually did mention were actually planned to be attacked, but they all failed. But obviously, it could happen. You never know. I don't want to predict the future, but you never know. You never know if the
Yeah,
you never know if the Statue of Liberty could get destroyed tomorrow. Honestly, you never know.
not.
And
She just ended
We're not
here.
trying to like go off, but we're just saying.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Shoot,
um,
guys,
but
should we just call it a day and then we end it here?
well, let's do the actually, yeah. So right now we
Wait, Atkins,
have.
Huh?
Atkins thing.
what you gonna do? See you again thing?
Oh, okay. Hold on. Hold on.
As he's doing that, we're gonna do our moment of silence to remember the lives that were lost. But what I was trying to say was, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years from now, a lot of people are not going to forget about 9/11, no matter what.
Hmm.
In the year of, when we get to 2050 or 2070, people are not going to forget about it still. It's just,
They better not. It's too important to ever forget.
see, the Titanic happened like hundreds of years ago, and we still remember that.
Mhm.
It's just sad how the world is. School shootings, that too,
Terrorist attacks.
terrorist attacks, celebrities dying, which has been a big part of this year. But
Yeah.
it's just the world we live in,
Unfortunately,
and
it's just
um,
something we'll have to deal with. No matter how hard it hurts, no matter
no
how
matter how hard
painful
it
it
is,
is.
hey, no matter how hard it is, you gotta learn how to fight through it. You can't fight through it yourself, though. Something about 9/11 is that you need to fight through it together. No matter who it is, you fight through it together. The entire United States fights through it together,
Yeah.
no matter who it is, honestly. And I think that it's hard to let it. It's hard to let 9/11 go, but you can't let it go because you gotta
We just
remember.
can't like
You
it's
can.
something we always have to remember to stay. Even if it hurts us.
It's a day that never should have happened, honestly.
All right,
Yeah.
are we gonna do our
He's getting the smoke, but The moment of
Should we?
silence.
Is he gonna say it?
Oh my god, that was my knee. Ow, ow.
Okay. But
All right, all right. I'm sort of ready. Sort
okay. So we're now about to have a moment of silence for the people who died, and then we'll end the stream. And yeah. So
What?
right.
What?
Please,
What we're gonna
no.
do
No, no. You go ahead. Go ahead.
is, yeah. What we're gonna do is 47 Emerald, or I think whatever you call him, is going to be has been practicing this, and he has been practicing this for this specific podcast stream, but he's gonna be trying to play "See You Again," um, and as a tribute to 9/11, and then we're gonna have a moment of silence, and I think probably like a good few minutes, and I think after that we're just going to end it without saying anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Please know that I have just learned this like not even maybe 3 hours ago. So I am. If I mess up on a note, please don't be angry at me. I just learned this, so and I didn't have much time to practice either. So just give me a break.
All right, please stand
Yeah.
for a moment of silence, and
Yeah.
we all thank you guys for watching the stream, and may God bless
Just
you
want
all.
to tell you that. Hey, hey guys, I don't care how many people see this video in the future, but we're in this together, and just learn how to survive no matter what. And also, no matter what,
Well,
you'll still, your loved ones, no matter what, will still be with you regardless.
yeah,
Definitely.
you're never alone.
You're never alone. But you think you're alone, but you're not.
You're
So
never alone.
you're never alone. And that's what I've learned about 9/11. You're never alone.
Now for a moment of silence. Thank you
Yeah.
guys for
So
watching the stream, and may God bless you all.
and stay safe.
Yeah, careful out there,
Thanks.
people.
Thanks.
Okay.
Have a good day.
Wait, do I start now or?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
now.
okay. Oh my god. Okay, that was so terrible. Anyway, just I'm gonna restart. Hold on. My bad.
By the way, guys, it's not easy.
Oh my god. You know what? Sorry. I'm trying seriously hard to remember the notes.
Yeah. Yeah, guys,
Just
we're trying our best here. Please, we're really trying.
Yeah, we're trying our best.
oh my god, I think that was it. Okay, I'm done.
Yeah. So
That- it was
that's the moment. Yeah. It's fine.
thank
Yeah.
it was terrible. Thank you guys for watching.
And yeah, just remember, stay safe. We're in this together, no matter what. We're strong. We are America. God bless. We love everyone, and just stay
Thank you
safe
guys.
and have a good day.
Yeah, watching.
Everybody
be
have a
safe.
good day.
We love you.
Oh, freaking foot. Ow.